This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Huge warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry Weekend Podcast, where we have three distinguished guests, including myself, to go through the weekend's cards at Ascot, and of course the Betfair Chase meeting at what will be probably a drenched Haddock, although we're not quite sure with good old Kirkland with his going reports and sticks what kind of going it will be there at Haydock tomorrow. Anyway, I'll introduce my guests. We're minus Andy Richmond, which I apologise, he's had technical issues, but we still have three of probably the best bar stewards. John Lane, good evening, John.
Yeah, now technical issues here, mate.
Good old Ray Winston. And then we come on to Quentin Franks, the all-weather king, which I'm sure he will have the all-weather card sorted for you tomorrow to pinch those early prices with Stoke-on-Trent. Good evening, Quentin.
Evening, Lee.
Good evening. And last and certainly not least, it's last week's Cheltenham whack-a-mole in the Cheltenham press room. It's our very own Cathryn Fry. We love the Fry. Good evening, Cathryn.
Thanks for that, Lee. That's great.
Right, chaps. This is quite a good weekend, and I know Fry, you'll be loving this weekend because of obviously the big Punchestown meeting. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I've had a brief look myself on the Sunday card as well, which is obviously better than the Saturday. But also, this is one of the key weekends really in the national calendar, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's still a little bit disappointing though that even there's no firm in any ground now, so I don't know what's with the small fields. Something's wrong somewhere, isn't it?
Well, it is, and you know, just to start the show off in the right frame of mind. I mean, Popeye today, he's certainly been on the gin because he's come out today and said, "Oh, we're going to have to walk the track in the morning."
Absolutely nothing wrong with that ground.
I mean, absolutely spot on. The Times suggest it is good to soft time-based ground. You know, cue Lydia. It literally is. You know, but some of the jocks are coming back and saying it's good and there's no good to soft in it. But then again, some of the jocks have probably been riding in bog deep ground in Ireland or half their lives, and
no, but it shouldn't matter. I mean, if it's good ground. I mean, remember when, I don't know, probably about 20 years ago, and you'd be like, the festival's opening on good ground, yes. You know, I mean, that was your desired ground. Nowadays, it has to be on the soft side of good for anyone to sort of, well, I don't know, they still don't run their horses then, but I just don't. I was watching Ascot today and I was thinking, yeah, well, you've got a really nice grass cover. Obviously, I know I wasn't there, but there's nothing wrong with that. You can see there's absolutely nothing wrong with that ground.
Yeah. And what makes me laugh is you go back to the Fez when it won the Supreme. In 4.5 seconds quicker than standard, and nothing was getting anywhere near 6 or 7 seconds within standard today. The man's off his tits. Yeah. I mean, he's either that or is there a more boring man in national hunt racing as a trainer? You know, we used to say Cotton Wool Nicky for Cotton Wool Nicky Richards up in Cumbria. He'd run them 3 times a year and then put them away. And Endo's becoming the same. He's literally just like, you know, these should be out and running now. It's just ridiculous.
Look at the other morning. Everyone like, yo, what a great morning at Newbury. You know, they're having a racecourse gallop. They should be running on the track. And then people say that, oh, well, look at when the Irish horses work after Leopardstown for, you know, so everyone can get a look at the horses going to Cheltenham. Yeah, that's fair enough because they actually run as well. Do you know what I mean?
I half expected him to withdraw sheepskin from the Newbury Gallop.
Absolutely. This is it. The Irish, for me, this is why I admire them to a degree. They're not as bothered about getting beat. They don't really care. It's like they'll build it towards a target. And I think, and especially in your tipping, Cathryn, you understand that because you watch them and think, right, you weren't very busy today, so I know that you've got a race in mind. So you follow them throughout the season. And this is the thing with the Irish. They don't care. Hendo clearly cares. He wants to keep. He wants 1. That's boring. It's just, it literally is. Just race them against the best when they're right, and don't start making like spurious complaints about the ground at Ascot. Like Cathryn says, like I've said, time based. Lydia would say if she was there, but it's at the races. Thankfully for her. Lydia would say the time say it's good to soft. No, it's good. No, it's quick side of good.
I mean, they are due to get a few more showers, which if that happens, then you would be looking that assume that there's enough moisture in the grass there to send it back on to the soft side of good. If heaven forbid it had gone good today, but what's the problem?
Unless you were Bristol Demai, or unless you were something that a soup monster today at Ascot. If you were fine running on that, it was safe. There was nothing, we didn't see horses pulling up a breaking down or anything like that. Or
see them absolutely mud splattered, knackered. You didn't see horses slipping either, which shows that it's actually gone into the ground. I thought it looked pretty decent actually, considering that they had obviously won a mighty deluge. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And in years ago, these horses would have been running, but I don't know, maybe I live in the past too much.
We do. We all do. Anyway, before we kick off with the best bets round, you said to me today, I've got a story for you from last week.
It's not from last week, but it is, it ties in that I remembered. I see a lot of people that do have media accreditation on Twitter that take videos of the closing stages or videos of the horses coming back in or something like that. Now, personally, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No.
I'll tell you a story about what happened to us in, it must have probably been 2019. Now, this was on trials day, and we knew that we couldn't film facing the track. We knew that we couldn't film whilst racing was on. And at the time, myself and my colleague were working for 2 local radio stations. There's only one local radio station now that covers Cheltenham. At this time, that quite a lot of them did. And we got a couple of people, I think it was mainly we wanted to do a bit on betting, so we approached the on-course representatives. And we went literally to the back of the grandstand outside the press room, where all you could see in the background of the video was a wall. So unless we just said that we were at Cheltenham, obviously we were, but you couldn't see anything. We didn't want to see the track. We didn't want to catch anybody in the background. Didn't want to get in the way of anyone, so we did it there. And it was literally probably a 3-4 minute video of the market movers, a little bit about our show and stuff like that, and that was it. Anyway, nothing gets said. And then on the Monday morning, myself and my colleague and our radio station wake up to emails from Cheltenham threatening to remove our accreditation because somebody had reported us for breaking media rights for Racing TV and ITV. I don't understand, because we're we weren't showing a horse, we weren't showing a track, we weren't showing any other media personnel. Because you're told, don't get in the way of the cameras. Fine, but I don't want to.
So how can Blogger do what he does then?
Exactly, but that's my point. It kind of ties into the whole situation of last week. It's one big club and you're not in it. But I do see other people doing it as well, and I just think, Christ, I bet you haven't had your collar felt. So basically, we were like, basically do it once more, and you'll be ejected from the racecourse. Your accreditation taken off you, and also the station won't be allowed to broadcast from there. I think I don't know if I have, my colleague might still have a video, and we were told to take it down off all socials and stuff like that. But all you could literally see was a wall of the grandstand.
Weird. This is a sign of the times where, if your face fits, you don't get pulled. I mean, sorry to digress on subject, but if you transgress this into the World Cup, for example, the lads that go to the World Cup in Qatar can't have a pint of Budweiser now because they're not going to sell alcohol around the grounds. They've just changed their mind.
That's a disaster for our lads. I mean, how the hell are they expected to fight without any...
I know, are they going to put chairs around without a pint?
But if you have 19k to spend on a suite, there is alcohol flowing in the ground. So listen, the world at the moment is topsy-turvy. Anyway, right, we're going to kick on. But thanks, Cathryn, for that. And that just sums the situation up. And obviously, Cathryn's
last week, it was back there in the memories, and I'd forgotten about it. And I thought I should have really seen the writing on the wall a long time ago.
Yeah, it reminds me of Cathryn's altercations last week, which, of course, for wrong speak or something that the establishment don't agree with, and certainly that bore out last week, and that kind of sums it all up, really. Right, on to the tipping round, because this is where you're interested in our selections for the weekend. Something for the weekend. Third best bets, then. Quentin Franks, I'm coming to you to kick everyone off and get everyone in the mood for this shirt with an all-weather bet.
My first bet, Lee, comes in the 7 o'clock at Wolverhampton. It was going to be my second best bet, but the price has kind of collapsed. The horse in question is Mr. Metopheles. Saw him in the paddock at Newbury, really liked him. 2 handlers, tall, strong, like good physique, carrying condition. Going around the paddock, he didn't need 2 handlers at all, just docile, looked like he was just calm, just too calm. You know, one of them ones where they're just going to be too green to do himself justice. He was one of them. Julie was too green to do himself justice. Slowly away on the wrong part of the track. Race kind of developed middle to far side at Newbury. Fast ground action. It was heavy ground. It was super at Newbury. Physically, he's going to do well from first to second run. Half brother Arthur's Angel was an all-weather winner. I'm sure you'll remember the Dam Lee Jellicle Ball. Put up a massive performance on debut and then kind of did nothing. Hughie Morrison doesn't really throw around entries. Had this one in the Irish 2000, I think he's in. Irish 2000 and in the Derby as well. I'm expecting a fair old jump forward from first to second run. A couple of plodders in here, Alex the Great and Galileus, which I don't particularly like. You got the top of the market, which is the Appleby Tawawa. The Dam's thrown, obviously, Manobo, one that's a temperamental sort, but she's now gone to New Approach. I think that's a downgrade on Dabawi and Cedar Stars. It was 66 across the board. There's still 50 with Bet365. It's probably a bet down to about 16 to 1, give or take.
Interesting. 50s with Denise Kurtz. It's a bullseye, Quentin. 50s.
Yep. Yeah. It was 66 across the board about 10 minutes ago, so someone else likes it. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. But you can have 50s with Denise for a 1 point. You don't go each way.
On the nose.
On the nose. Fuck me each way. So Quentin with Mr. Mistopheles and some good angles there, Quentin. I like that. You know, you've noticed entries and stuff, and you know, I like that, and I think our listeners will like that too. So good luck with that to kick us off. Catherine Fry, I'm intrigued for your first bet.
Okay, my first bet tomorrow is 1:15 at Haydock. Obviously, I don't think there is I've been looking everywhere for a going update. Is there one?
I have done the stick analysis, the stick, and Haydock's hilarious, right? Because it'll say like 4.7, which it currently is, and they've given that out in the past as heavy, soft, and good to soft. So this is bingo balls. I mean, like you said, this is so vital. I mean, what are you after with your horse here? Are you after soft ground or heavy?
Heavy ground. Soft. I don't want to say good to soft. I want to go soft or heavy with this horse. So 1:15. Haydock. Albert's back. £3 for just failing last time on reappearance. He's won on heavy before at Haydock, and what really caught my eye was that they've actually and this is the services of Harry Cobden, or this fella as well, sees around third favourite in the market 4-1. That's absolutely fine. So I would like to go on the nose, please.
Yes, and I think good old Uncle Mick, John's cringing now, right? has got this one right, because like I thought he's got him spot on. He's obviously been difficult to train. There's been a few issues, and yet last time out with a lot of promise. So I like your angles there. And like you say, let's hope that it is the kind of soft heavy that should be according to that stick. But I'm not too sure.
Again, like in any other industry, how would this stand up? So it's the night before one of their biggest meetings and they can't even update the going.
Well, they did it this morning, but that's all. Like you said, that's all you get because there was rain at Haydock this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. So
Too hard to go out and stick the stick in the ground, is it?
I know, like give an afternoon update, which they haven't. But so anyway, 9-2 for you.
Okay, thank you.
That's generally available. So for your 1 point win on the nose selection, Jonas Leng.
Looking for a selection in these extreme conditions, in the words of Swiss Tony, it's rather like making love to a beautiful woman. You spend an awful lot of time grooming. You warm up some Stockholm tar and apply liberally to the feet. Then you rip the rug off and get them out on the grass to get down and filthy. I'm talking of making love to a beautiful woman. My first selection in the 1240 at Haydock is Achille. Now, this one is on a ridiculous mark, suited to the ground, steers extreme distances, and was, in my opinion, was just getting nicely going last time when the stirrup leather broke. In the main, he goes nicely when fresh off the break, and he will do for me 1 point win trained by a beautiful woman.
You tipped this one when the stirrup leather broke, didn't you? You Toxita.
Yeah.
Because I remember you seething that day saying, fuck me.
Yeah.
That was going well at the time, which it was. So John Achille for the lovely Venetia woman, who has yet to get firing so far this season. I'm a bit concerned for Venetia.
No, we'll fire her up tomorrow one way or another.
11-2 with the Stoke-on-Trent firm, John, to kick you off.
That'll do, mate. That's a nice little double, isn't it? Denise and Venetia.
Okay. On to my 1 pointer. I've decided I'm going to go with against our darling Rachel. That sounded Welsh, did it? Scottish.
Yeah, I wondered where you were going.
Darling with Rachel Yaki.
Yeah, I couldn't never get the accent right. Yeah, I can't say it like Cathryn or even John. Anyway, so we come on to the main race, and I think good old Roundface can win this with Protectorate, because the reason I say this is because I think the Bromhead team will have looked at last season, and a Plutard definitely bounced a little bit for me after Haydock at Leopardstown at the Christmas meeting, and I'm not so sure that they'll be sort of all in here like they were for Haydock last year. Because if you watch Leopardstown, it was a regression from Haydock, and then obviously a progression for the big race in March. So I'm just thinking here, good old Dan Skelton, who's trying to catch Pumpkin up for the most chins. He literally will be bouncing tomorrow. I think
chin off.
You are, yeah, good chin off. Yeah, Christmas chin off between Skelton and Nichols after the Christmas dinner. But Protectorate tomorrow, I think, is massive value at 3-1 because, and the reason I say this, if you look at the Gold Cup, if you stop the tape sort of 2 hours, I know the race was just getting going, but there was not a lot between them, and you take the mistake from Protectorate out at the last, and the winning distance would have been nothing like that between the two. So I don't think there's that much between them in terms of form level, not to be 8-13 and 3s. I'd have them a little bit closer because I think Dan Skelton's more desperate to win this than what they are. They're clearly looking at maybe Christmas and then March, probably the same path as last year for a Plutard. So Protectorate for me, 1 point win, 3-1 with several firms. I think that's value. That's the one I'd rather be on.
Do you think that the lads version 2.0 targeting this meeting, because they've got a fair few interesting entries, haven't they?
It looks so, doesn't it? Shit, man. And then Skelton's got the other one. One of the market leaders in the other race. I would say so. I would say this is because Cathryn's mentioned this before about the reason why English trainers don't dominate at Cheltenham, because half of them have been trained for races like earlier on in the season, and they kind of then that race then leaves its mark. And I just wonder if they'll have that in the back of the mind with a Plutard. When that went to Leopardstown last Christmas, that definitely regressed. Even though like it didn't run badly, it definitely regressed on form.
Lee, sorry, a couple of questions. You know when he regressed at Christmas? Wasn't that when the stable was out of form a little bit?
A little bit, but I take that on board. But if you look at past Betfair chases, it's a grueling race.
Yeah.
Because like you know what Brian is going to do, you know what like Daryl Jacobs going to do, and it's gonna. I think it's gonna be. If it is soft, it's going to be brutal.
Are you not worried about the kind of like they're together over the last? Who's going to fuck it up more, Harry or Rachel? You know.
Oh, absolutely. If it's a driving, if it's a real driving finish where the last jump depends on it, then yeah, Protectorate probably be in trouble. But I do think at the prices they should be a little bit closer because
I take that point. Yeah.
I smell that they want to win it more than what Drake does.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, we'll come on to round 2. Ding ding. I may as well swing us back round then. We go to 3:35 race at Haydock. That's the stamina one for handicappers. And I was very keen on Lord de Mesnil of Richard Hobson's, and I'm quite pleased for them because they're a small outfit and they've turned the corner. They had a wretched sort of like season from sort of like middle of last Christmas to onwards, and they've just come back. The horses are really bouncing. You can see it in the races. And Lord de Mesnil, you could tell at Bangor, was given a sort of floaty feely ride, you know, like let's just see him finish his race off, and he did. He ran really well. Dropped out and you know and came through late, finished second. Obviously loves Haydock, loves heavy ground as long as Kirkland's got it right, which we don't know yet. If it ends up good to soft, then we're all fucked. But Lord de Mesnil, 5-1, I felt was cracking value in this because it's for me it's certain to run its race if the ground is as described. So I will go 1 point each way, 4 places because I'm a coward like that. Disgraceful behaviour from me. Cathryn, I'm coming back to you then.
Yeah, so 158 at Huntingdon tomorrow. Course and distance winner in May. I'm talking about Rebus Road. Pieces on for the first time. We'll like the good going. Stable in very decent form. The Oliver Sherwood stable in very decent form. Back to 2 miles at a course he's won at before. Obviously he's won over the distance there as well. 2 mile 4 last time out. I think it was possibly a trip too far for him. There's not a lot of stamina in the pedigree. And James Bowen takes the ride and just caught my eye. So he's going in on the nose for my number 2 selection, please.
Champs-Élysées. So yeah, absolutely should love decent ground on that side of the pedigree. James Bowen, I knew you love James Bowen.
I do.
You love the Bowens, yeah. And you look at the standard of jokers in this. Although I do like Luke Scott taking 7 off on Newlands, but
absolutely.
Michal Nolan, Thomas Dogrot, you know. Tom Bellamy that fell on Twiston Davis last week for me and cost me a fortune. So he's out with a washing. So yeah, I like Fry's selection there, and that's available at 5-1.
Thank you.
Generally available with all bookmakers. Are you on the nose, Cathryn?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yes, two points on the nose, Cathryn. That's your second round bet. Jonas, coming to you.
Young boy, and he's almost as popular in the Fry household as 14-year-old racing journalist, isn't he? Right, selection time. 11:05 at Lingfield, Desert Boat. He's been running okay of late. Slight drop in grade might just be enough to see him get back to winning ways. Luke Thrasher's a good broken, fair enough drawn. Course and distance, we know what's not to like. 1 point each way. Filth. Please.
Filth, yeah, 4 places. We all love filth, me and John, on a Saturday afternoon. So that's where we're going, 1 each way. 9-2 generally available for Desert Boots. Like it, John, going back on the flat just to piss Quentin off. Quentin, coming to you to finish the round.
Yeah, 7-4 doesn't look too shrewd now. That's it with John tipping on the flat. I'm going to go with kind of John's. Last week he had a Roger Till trained winner and Crowley owned. I'm going back down that route. 2 points win on Marion's Boy in the 2 o'clock, I think it is. 2:55 at Lingfield.
2:55. Yeah.
Lingfield specialist, 4-time course and distance winner, and it's kind of had 2 sighters since he's come back from a break. Further back than ideal over a slightly longer trip than he wants. Kempton in a 0-80, 3 deep at Wolverhampton. Just Probert ended up just hanging him out there despite having a chance to go in. Edged back down towards a mark of 74, 1 off 75. Has won this race the last 2 years actually. Just all looks in place to have a massive run. Lack of pace in the race wouldn't be a concern. Maybe the draw could have been slightly wider, but as long as they sit handy, he's got a deadly turn of foot around here. 2 points win 8-1.
Yeah, like stall one doesn't. I always worry around there, but you need a bit of luck. But like you said, the price sort of compensates for that. So 8-1 for Quentin for his 2-pointer. Thank you very much, sir. To finish the round. Okay, we're going to go 3-point big bettors time. Now, this is where the chests puff out, and this is where we absolutely take the bookies to town. Cathryn Fry.
Okay, my 3-pointer. So on the nose, only 5 runners, and 12-10 at Haydock. I'd like to go for Sizing Potsy, please. It was a non-runner in the Schlor chase. This is obviously a listed hurdle. Non-runner in the Schlor last week because of the good ground. Wants ground softer the better. So as far as we know at this moment in time, the Haydock ground will be okay for him. He's still a novice hurdler, even though he's an 8-year-old Grade 2 winning chaser. Bought from the Jesse Harrington yard for David Pipe. Second run for David Pipe, first time out, was a win. Has an entry in the Tingle Creek. And so I looked at him, looked at Haydock, looked at the ground, and thank you very much. That'll do for me. So I'd like it on the nose, please.
So on the nose for the Potsy
Mm-hmm.
at 5-2 with BetVictor, Coral, Spin, Sporting Index. They're getting involved at that sort of price. Ladbrokes as well. Entain, disgraceful outfit. So that's good for Cathryn Fry for her max bet Sizing Potsy at Haydock tomorrow. Good luck, Cathryn, with that. Hope you go very well. Okay, Jonas.
3:35 at Haddock. Trucker's Lodge.
Oh, yeah, that old boy, yeah.
I thought this one ran an okay race in the Welsh National last season. He's come down a little bit in the ratings for that remote third. He's a dual winner at those heavy ground wash pits, trappers and Yo-Toxita. So tomorrow's hippo swamp conditions will hold no fears for him whatsoever. The Nichols is practically ablaze. It's in such warm form. Megan's making the most of it and doing feature after feature on Daddy's horses at the moment.
Do the voice, John, do the voice.
Absolutely. The icing on the cake is the kid taking the thick end of a stone off, which should be absolutely priceless in these conditions. 1.5 points each way. Solid.
17-2 available, and that's with a few firms: Paddy's, Betfair, BetVictor, Betfred, all 4 places. John Joseph. So basically, Freddie Gingell he's a good kid, and takes plenty of weight off, and that's John's angle there. So good luck with John going head to head with me on the 3:35 Haydock. Quentin Franks.
My best bet league comes in the 5:30 at Wolverhampton, and horse in question is Just Call Me Pete. Caught the eye back at Southwell. I kind of thought they would have him straight enough. The market said not on the 9th of October. Southwell was riding very fast that day, and tough to make ground from the back. Also ended up further back than ideal in a steadily run race, but did well under the circumstances. Went to Newmarket next time in a 0-85. Short of room, 2-3 furlongs out, trouble in running, just kept on underhand riding. Pieces go on tomorrow. Draw 10's slight concern, but there's plenty of pace on. Burks will go forward. Star St James, Max Dilemma should press on as well. He's dropped down in the weights as well. I still think there's more to come on the all-weather. He's got a couple of times that suggest so as well. 3 points win, 8-1, 15-2 even.
15-2, yes, generally available as well. Quentin's bet. The old Doug Costello factor. It's the old Haley factor, Quentin. The two jockeys lurking in the swamp at the bottom. I might make it 3. Stevie Donoghue, Dougie Costello, Haley Turner. Those are the 3 jocks where your heart sinks, right? You find a bet, right? You think, oh, it's running, it's in my tracker, it's running. Get in there, and then you look down the decks and it's Dougie Costello, or it's Haley Turner, or it's Stevie Donoghue, and you think, you just start to lose it because you're just thinking, yeah, but they're either shite or bent, and that's it. You start losing your rag. But maybe not from your neck of the woods, but that's me. What I do in York. It's 50-2 generally available for Quentin's nap. Quentin has tipped some super prices this week, so I hope you all appreciate this. This is free. We're not going to increase your subscription costs. And Quentin's tipped up some belting prices. So thanks for that, Quentin, for your max bet. I'm finishing the show off with a belter, and only bet I've lost today is I actually bet the producer that Fry would be all over this, on it like a carb on it, so to speak. And I'm amazed she hasn't tipped this. I think this is like the second coming. 3.15 at Ascot. It's, in fact, I'll be honest, out of the 3 bets I've put up so far, it's the only bet I have sent the agents out to get on. So Scottish in the 3.15 at Ascot, Emmett Mullins and Maxine O'Sullivan. Listen,
put it up, to be honest.
This horse tomorrow, it's getting backed, but this horse should be a strong favourite, as in about 7 or 4. It's a ridiculous price. How they've got this at, well, they had it at 5 and 6 to 1 today, 9-2 with the Stoke-on-Trent firm. So that's my 3 points win anyway.
Sullivan on board as well.
Yeah, so you've got right. So this is out of the handicap, but it's not with her claim. And the thing for me is I cannot have this horse like at this price because they've disguised this really brilliant. At Tipperary, they didn't ask the horse for full effort until sort of from 2 out. The typical Irish way. It slammed one of Gavin Comrell, absolutely thumped it. The one that finished second to Unanswered Prayers at the recent Cheltenham meeting off 130. It absolutely slammed that. So what do they do? Right, Ascot's right-handed. So they went to Carlisle and they decided, right, so we'll run right-handed just to make sure it goes right-handed because obviously this is the target, 75 grand race. Richie McClernand was absolutely hilarious. It was a big drifter. And it came to the third last. It made it on a wrong stride, so lost a bit of ground. He still sits. Yeah. Then it comes to the second last. It belts it. It goes right through the middle of it. He's still sitting. Well, meanwhile, while the one in front's gone about 4 clear coming to the last. So then obviously he's got to ask it. You have to ask it for full pressure, else questions get answered. So he asks it for full pressure. It gets up close. It was so much the best. It was probably, I'd say he'd left probably £20 on the track just there. So if you put it into context, the one that it's beat came out at air next time off I think it was 100, it might have been 119 or something like that. Jumped terrible through the race. I know because I laid it because I thought you hadn't jumped as well as you did at Carlisle. It pisses up at air, right? So that means, well, if you put that on say 125, even if you put that on 125. That brings out like Emmett's at 145. Now, I think there's even more than that to come. I literally think this is 150, which means then if you're backing Edwardstone on and thinking, oh, that's a good horse, Edwardstone, you're literally saying, right, £26 it's got to give and more with her claim, right? So £26. What's going on? It can't. Edwardstone cannot be favourite to beat this. This is so well handicapped. It will. I think if things go right in the run, it's the only winner. We've got the double up. Lang's phone goes. Bang. That's the klaxon. Even though there's no one else has tipped this. Fry, you supposed to klaxon this, but anyway, so Scottish. 9-2 for me. Fry, are you in agreement?
Yeah, I am, and it's a horse that's in my tracker with a few notes, and I thought I didn't want to be sort of obvious. I didn't want to be like typical my style of tipping, so I went elsewhere. But yeah, yeah, I'm with you.
How funny was McLernan's interview after at Carlisle, by the way? So he gets off it, right? So this is straight. I got the TV on. So his interview was, yeah, the handicapper should drop it after that. He's clearly not as good as we thought he was.
Brilliant. You know, one of the funniest things I ever heard Richie McLernan say, and it wasn't. It wouldn't have been broadcast anywhere. I don't think it was. I think RTV were there, but they certainly wouldn't have filmed that bit. Many years ago now, going back nearly 10 years ago, we went to the fundraising night for old JT McNamara at Cheltenham, and it was a brilliant night. Really was. Like it was just it was the one time where where there are times when the whole of racing can pull together and actually be nice to each other, and for the greater good. And it was a really good night. And there was this quiz, and the prize was brilliant. I think JP had put up the prize or something, and Richie McLernan, I think a few of the jocks had put the quiz together, and it was quite a hard racing quiz. And Richie McLernan stands at and obviously this one was organised by John Joes and Jack Castle and that. He stands at the front and he says like everyone has to turn their phone off, and he said, and no confer, and he said, and brilliant, real ad lib, tongue in cheek, he goes, because as you know, there's no cheating around here. I swear to God, I nearly fell off my chair laughing. It was very funny.
Yeah, no, it's good. He's good stuff. Yeah, so right, we're going to come on to the television action tomorrow. We've got 7 races on ITV. And Cathryn, have you anything for Punchestown this weekend?
No, I've got a sort of one tomorrow. Punchestown on Sunday I haven't tipped up. There is one that I like tomorrow at Punchestown. 3:23. Tyre kicker of Gavin Cromwell's. Luke Dempsey and Gavin Cromwell make a good team. Just quickly on this horse, 3 miles his trip. Ground is absolutely fine for him. I think you can forgive him the last time out at Damroyal. He made a few errors and he got bumped at the last as well. And he's on a mark of 96, and I think there's still a little bit more to come. So that's 3:23, Punchestown Tyre kicker.
Yeah, it's interesting you tip that, because that's the one race I did look at in Ireland tomorrow. And I come to the same conclusion that the Jungle Pros of BFGs completely had the run of the race, did everything right. In fact, the only thing he could have got extra was probably having a muller corn. The jockey could have had a muller yogurt or something on the way around. That was the only thing you could have probably got better than the trip Jungle Pros had. And so I looked at Tyre Kick. I agree with you. I think that had the rough edge of the race. And I'd be looking at that to reverse the form. Yeah. Good, great minds, Fry. I like that one. Tyre kicker for good old Gavin Carrots.
Yeah, Gavin Carrots. I actually
Punchestown tomorrow. Okay, TV races time. So I hope Quentin and John are massively up for this. And I've spoke to them off air, and they said they couldn't wait for this. So we'll go to Ascot first, and it was a 2:05 race there. Lom Press is a very warm favourite at 8-11. Where is Shitman going to run? He's entered twice at Ascot and Haydock. Does anyone know?
Prefers Haddock, doesn't he? Because the lads version 2.0 will all be at Haddock.
They've had a treble then, haven't they?
Yeah.
Also, though, if Lom Presse was yours, would you not be running him in the Betfair?
Why not? But maybe again, the witch has decided she doesn't want a kind of, maybe there's obviously another target. I think she wants a soft introduction. That's why I'm not interested at 8-11. But then again, if Itman's going to be a non-runner, you've got to beat corpses, then, haven't you?
Yeah.
So it's a non-race.
Well, actually, then that takes it down to 3 runners, because Do Your Job ran today.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible. It's a £70,000 race. We've already said there's no excuse for ground.
Sure.
And
I keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. Where are all our horses?
Don't know. Probably.
Might turn that one out again tomorrow, just for the prize money. He's only had another round today, Charlie.
Do you reckon?
Well, Mel would have run him.
Well, if you think about it, if Hitman so goes to Haydock,
Yeah.
So you're left with 4 runners. The worst you get is 3,731 for completing, or you get $7.5 for third. I mean,
Have a scrounge round at the back, can't you, for 3.5 Gs?
well, Sadiq does. Mr. Sadiq, the trainer, what a shrewd he is. He just enters them all in the 3-runner big novice chasers, like and pockets the $2.5 for having a day out.
This is a disgrace.
It is. It's not good for British racing, and it's highlighting it in a bad light. And then we come on to the next, which could end up even in a bigger disgrace when Popeye decides
don't
that the ground's too quick.
I think he might do it, Did you see his interview today?
Yeah.
He didn't look positive. No.
There was a bit of spade work putting in there, I think he was laying the ground.
Yeah.
Well, Quentin, what do you think on this?
He was sozzled, weren't he, at the end of the day? The eyes were bulging. Like he was swaying a bit.
It's like me on
I think they run him. Like I said to you earlier, I'd go 8 to 11. They run evens. They don't. You're turning up against Goshen and brewing up a storm. I'm not really sure on the whole national hunt race planning side of things. I'm assuming they don't want to go fighting fifth with him. It doesn't. Surely someone can point out to him that the ground at Cheltenham was genuine good ground. Mm-hmm. There was nothing wrong with it. Times today, good to soft, maybe good to soft, good in places. If it dries out the good ground, there's nothing wrong with it. As Cathryn said earlier, good covering the grass. Surely someone's got to point this out to him, like it's safe ground. So
even if it was good, what's the problem? It's not.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No. It's just like looking at the stick. It's 6.1, 6.3. Even if it dried out to say, Ascot have raced so far this autumn on 7.2 for the hurdles track.
What's he going to do if we have like say for the whole of February and the beginning of March, we have no rain, but we just have cold and high winds.
Well, you know yourself, Cathryn, you walk Cheltenham quite regular, and you will know yourself like how that walks.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you message me and say, "Geez, this is quick," or whatever. Yeah. And the fairs, like traditionally, unless you get some weird weather patterns, it's usually going to start good to soft or good, and that's how it is. It just so I don't understand where he's coming from. Unless I said to Quentin privately, I said, well, not private now, but I said, unless I reckon it's probably put a shit piece of work in or something, and he's not quite 100%.
Myself and Eamon, who listens to this, so I know he won't mind me saying this. Myself and Eamon, we've had a double that he pulls out Constitution Hill and Shishkin. So we're waiting on the non-runner double, and it probably will happen.
3:15 to finish off the corpse of a card at Ascot. And I
think the most exciting thing about Constitution Hill's race could be Goshen coming there going well, 2 out.
Yes.
Taking sharp left through the wings of the second last, leaping over the railings, raping somebody's granny in the cheap seat, and leaving everybody thinking, well, if only he kept straight, he might have won that. Never done. Lunge for the champion hurdle on Goshen.
He's cut for the champion hurdle,
Yeah.
What can I just sit back on Constitution Hill? Okay, I'm actually beginning to feel sorry for this horse. How is he 5-4 favourite for the champion hurdle, where a dual unbeaten mare is 7-2?
Yeah. It's like I said. He's the most boring man in training is Nicky Henderson. That's why I've said before on shows. That's why Lydia makes our title tracks because his analysis that day of the ground he was telling her it's heavy. I mean, a complete idiot. And again, he's proven again he's he might be able to train racehorses, no doubt. But as for decision making,
I think you're being harsh there. Like, I love a lunatic.
I do, but in the right way.
I don't think you can call him boring. I mean,
I do.
He's maybe getting slightly predictable taking these horses out, but I mean, at least it's bloody entertaining when he's coming up with his excuses. And that.
My definition of a lunatic is Ado McGuinness walking into like Maidan, like brash, showing his hairy chest, and like, you know, like, a bit like Pat Mustard, and beating them at their own game in Maidan with all the sheiks looking around saying, well, we've put 7 litres in that one, and Ado's still got better carrots.
If you want
the Irish carrots, you know, Irish carrots are the best.
Yeah.
If you want a prime example of lunacy, LGBT Association here in Middlesbrough that's organised a trip to the World Cup.
Oh my God!
Can you believe it?
Is that the truth?
That's gospel. They're going, yeah.
Oh, good God. They might not come back.
Well,
Ginger Hitler tagged along.
No, funnily enough, no. You'd think me quite at home in Qatar, wouldn't you? But up to press, he's staying on terra firma.
3:15 to finish. Me and Fry, obviously, with Emmett Carrot.
Yeah.
We're unanimous on that. So Quentin and John, anything to take us on in this?
I thought the old mate Boot Hill might run well.
Oh, Cliff Horse, John. Cliff Horse.
Well, he won last time.
I know, but that's it. You climbed up the cliff and you're ready to jump off again.
Yeah.
I mean, Boot Hill, he's just, you know, like we talk about equine wankers and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, I mean, he really pissed me off in the Schweppes last year, to be honest.
Yeah,
that was an absolute wanker of a run, you know.
I mean, look, you can argue, obviously, that's all right. Gino's popped out and Frank the form, so I get that. You know, if you're looking in a form book, Boot Hill ain't bad off 140. I used to like him, but he's had that many sort of like reasons for defeat that
he's had enough chances, hasn't he?
Yeah, just kind of.
I'd just throw him into a year, really. I mean, I think I'm chucking him with our selection late, to be honest.
Yeah, Quentin, anything on for you on this?
Don't particularly like the Nichols thing. Doesn't really doesn't really jump well enough. Third time lucky's third time lucky. We'll try and get that short in the run if there's a chance with the tongue tie off. I'll be rowing in with yours, Lee, to be honest. No more to be said.
We're all in on 30 Emmets.
Yeah, Emmett's put the proper carrots in, you know, the Ado ones.
So. I hope they're not the dodgy ones you used last week.
No, not the ones.
The right end.
Yeah. No, I can smell this one. He's targeted this. I can smell him. You know, it's like Lynx Africa. I can smell it a mile. Right, the 150 at Haddock. This is Shipman's favourite race. This is the one that will maybe treble for the lads.
Version 2.0.
Yes. Any views on this? Fry, coming to you.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, no, because, I mean, the only one possibly, but I don't think his jumping's up for it. No, because look at the absolute crap that's assembled in it. And I'm trying not to be.
Couldn't Manila Drama have a softie here?
He could, but I just worry I wasn't that enthused with his jumping last time out. He could do, but if
you know what Big Ginger's like at Haydock though. You know?
I know. Yeah, I used to work at Haydock many moons ago, and well, he was welcomed with open arms. Let's go back to that. The Colin Parker at Carlisle. His jumping, he wasn't fluent, was he? And then he absolutely whacked the last against that Beauport. That's a nice horse, Beauport. The form, though, if we're looking at Hitman's short, purely on the old Rome form, then he wins it, doesn't he?
You'd think so. I mean, to be honest,
does he want this far on bad ground though? I mean, he's had more fucking wind up than Darth Vader, hasn't he?
He is, but I just.
I like that one.
I think the short answer to this is no, I don't fancy anything in it.
That's done, mate. It's like, you know, like when your stumps all go, all three of them. You know, like the Yorker in cricket, and all your stumps go. That's what Lang did there. Bang. 8 to 15 Hitman. I actually think, if you're playing on official ratings, £15 it's got in hand. I mean, it should be just a hunt round for old Harry Cobden, but
you'll hear him coming at the second last.
Good God, may the force be with you. If you're backing it, man. 225 Haydock. This is the Stayers Handicap hurdle.
To be violent.
A vile race for everyone concerned. Obviously, I liked Good Risk at All for Sam Thomas,
Yes,
Sam for St Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the most solid selection given condition. I think it's on Expers. Fry, Franks, Leng, what we're saying?
Yeah, I agree with you. Good Risk at All. I am worried though slightly. I know I shouldn't. I'm not crabbing him, but Jesus Christ, he's putting some bloody good horses on the floor these days, isn't he? Old Sam Twisty.
Yeah.
He put a good horse on the floor today at Ascot. Look at Stolen Silver last week.
What are you saying about your friend Charles Burns?
I'm not saying anything about Mr. Burns, actually.
The man's just bolted up in a Sazanovic, and he turns up here with with a very useful Daniel King.
Daniel King, yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah. Well, I just think it's so obvious you don't even have to mention it. The one I would, though, I mean, Jamie's not on it, so that's a massive plus. Cathryn Quinn rode a winner today. That it takes a 7 off Botox Har. I think that likes heavy ground and a trip. So that would be again, it's not a race I want to have a bet in purely because if you could run that race 55 times and there'd be a different result each time, and also that far in that ground. Just don't know.
I think that's the value, Fry. I did look at this and I thought with his 7 off, he's a really good kid, and obviously Gary Moore's been shrewd to take him off that corpse Greatrex, and now Cathryn Quinn has got a chance to ride some nice horses. This, like you said, take his 7 off 137. I think this has to be in the mix, doesn't it?
Oh, hasn't he, Botox Heart?
Yeah, it's got to be in the mix though, hasn't it? It's consistent.
Yeah, and also I like Gary Moore's horses when Jamie's not on them.
Oh yeah, Jamie's terrible.
So I like Niall Houlihan's riding them, and now obviously if Cathryn Quinn's riding them, great.
It's such a shame that with Josh, because Josh was a much better jockey than Jamie.
Yeah.
And obviously the sad thing with Josh, but at least he can live to fight another day. Probably in the training ranks, maybe taking over from old Gal.
What Gal?
Old Gal, yeah, Jelly Deals, old Gal on the Brighton coast,
Bit of knees up down there.
Bit of knees up down there, knees up with Chaz and Dave.
Dick Van Dyke on the podcast.
Knees up Mother Brown, John. Right. Anyway, John, Quentin, any views on this?
Yes.
Go on then.
Imperial Aura a year ago was travelling akin to Alan Wicker on speed in the Betfair chase when he fell.
Alan Wicker on speed.
At the time, he was rated 161. He runs here a shit rating of 143. He'll cope with the conditions. He's only 9, for God's sake. How regressive can a horse be? The Kimberley Yard isn't in terrible form. I think 40-1 is a bit ridiculous and worth a little tiny poke just in case.
Like it?
Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like that angle, John. Cheers, Quentin.
I don't think Good Risk at All wants 3 miles. To be honest, strong traveller. If it's desperate ground, which I'm hoping it is, then I'll be having a strong place lay on him and trying to lay him in running as well, given how he goes through his races.
Yeah,
quite headstrong, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the one worry. Yeah, it's more of an in running play for me. I want to see him not taking a grip, which could happen. Okay, so 3 o'clock then, the Betfair chase. Obviously, I've nailed my colours to the mast with the real round face one. Fry, Quentin, John.
Darling Rachel. All day long.
All day long. Beat him on the run. Beat him at the last.
I can't have Rachel.
Producers as a sound Indian.
The second best, you do, yeah. The second best jockey in that lineup is Bryony. The rest of the boys against Rachel. I'm telling you now. What? Darryl, love him, lovely bloke, but not great.
Oh.
Who? Go on then. Who's the second best jockey to you in that lineup?
Any of the others.
That's a politician's answer.
It is really, yeah. That's John Lang, MP for Posh Martin.
Yeah.
South of the borough.
If I couldn't depose Simon fucking Clark, there'd be something wrong.
John, you should run. They'd love you.
I want John to do the spotlights and the race analysis and the race.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Wouldn't it? It'd be amazing. You'd subscribe. Racing Post would have an influx of subscribers because they would absolutely. Quentin.
Rachel, I just think he's just too good. Just too good. A few people have said he's been beaten 2 seasons previously on his run, seasonal reappearance. He won well last year. The figures are off the chart. I don't think he has to be fully tuned up to beat this lot, in all honesty. Bristol Demise, he's over the hill now, isn't he? I get the angle with Protector out. I'm surprised Plutard isn't more two on for the 9.
Remember when Plutard won the novices handicap at the festival off 144?
Yeah, these Irish trainers are very astute at getting them off mark. Yeah, 16-length defeat of Tower Bridge under Rachel at 5s. 5-1 fav as well, so it's a square price. It's square. You can make money at that. We've established that the Irish trainers are very shrewd. They have the carrots, and they also know how to place them a lot better than our idiots. Mm-hmm. So a Plutard is the verse of Quentin and Cathryn. John's not arse, and he's letting dog in. And I'm with Protector for the round face one. So we go to the 3:35 at Haydock to finish the preview. Lord de Mesnil tipped by me. I've nothing to add. John's tipped. I'm just scrolling. Trucker's Lodge with the brilliant Freddie Gingell on board claiming 10. That could be a good angle, folks. That's something I possibly might have overlooked there. So Quentin and Cathryn, what are we thinking here?
Okay, there's a horse in here that hasn't been seen for a long time, but he's got a nice pilot on him tomorrow. And if he's 12 years old, and it's Cross Park, Sean Bowen.
Superman trained, yeah.
Sean Bowen on. He'll stay. I don't think he'll mind the going that much. He's won on heavy. He's had he's had thousands of runs in his career. He's won on heavy before. If he's still up to the job, then I haven't even looked at the prices for that, because can you imagine what Haydock's going to be like by 3:30?
20s for you, Cathryn Fry. Yeah. You love a golden oldie. You do absolutely love a golden oldie. Clark Kent. Sean Bowen, Cross Park, 20s for Fry. After a long...
That doesn't transpond to a social life, does it? She's not so keen on the golden oldies.
No, she actually... Fry isn't prejudiced. It's whether it's young and up and coming journalists, whether it's the Fry fanboys that turn up at Cheltenham meetings, or whether it's like Elvis on tour.
74-year-old Irish trainers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, after dye the sideburns, absolutely. So for Fry is literally an all-rounder.
I wish my life was that active.
Yeah, the Ian Botham of the journalist world. So Quentin, anything for you on this?
Absolutely nothing, Lee.
Yeah, no. This is where Quentin draws stumps and takes his lovely missus out into the Toronto suburbs for a lovely cracking meal. What a lucky person you are living out there, Quentin.
Oh no,
it's -9 today. Fantastic, isn't it?
-9, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. I love cold weather.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Chuck a mouse in the furnace.
Yeah. For us big fat sweaters, we look, that eat poutine. We like to have the cold temperatures on. The aircon on. Get the aircon on. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed the show. It's light-hearted as always and satirical. We're back on Sunday as normal with me, John, and Chris in full volume to discuss this week's events. And hopefully you'll back plenty of winners to go along with that. You might agree with some of our selections, you might disagree, but I hope you have a good weekend. That's all from us. Bye for now.